First up, I want to talk about Davante Adams. There's been rumors coming around the New York Jets basically since Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers split up in Green Bay. And then since Aaron Rodgers got here, everyone's been like, oh man, the Jets have got to find a way to get Davante Adams over to New Jersey, New York, in green and white. And it appears as though the Raiders have no plans on trading Davante Adams at this time. And I think that makes perfect sense. It's exactly what I was telling you guys earlier in the season. When you look at the structure of Davante Adams' contract, it is very, very difficult for the Raiders to trade him because of the dead cap hit that would accelerate to this year. Basically, what I'm saying is the signing bonus that he received. So in 2022, he received like a $40 million signing bonus that was all paid out all at once. And it's distributed over the course of a 5-year contract. If you cut or trade Davante Adams, that signing bonus that's prorated for each portion of each year gets accelerated to the current year. So it would actually be a major, major cap blow for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, of course, they would save money overall on the contract, but cap hit wise, you're getting a big hit right now, as opposed to maybe spreading it out over a little bit longer. So because of that, you would need to trade a higher asset in order for the Raiders to want to move Davante Adams. And we've seen over the past few weeks, Davante Adams just has not been happier. He wants to see the ball in his hands. If he understands, I think the last 2 weeks they've had wins, but he's only had like 5 receptions on 9 targets, which is bananas when you consider the best wide receivers in the league are getting close to double-digit targets every single week because they are the best player on their team generally. Davante Adams, I think you can objectively look at the Raiders and say he's their best offensive weapon. I mean, you can look at Josh Jacobs, you can look at Jacoby Myers, both very good assets, but Davante Adams, they paid him a ton of money. They made the big trade to go get him for him to be a major part of that offense, and he just has not been the last 2 weeks. And the more you feed him, the more he should perform. Now, obviously, Jet fans are thinking like, oh, man, we'd love to pair him with Aaron Rodgers. And I've been kind of feeling for a while that a trade is more likely after the season, although I really don't think it's likely unless the Raiders decide to just flat out cut Davante Adams, which I don't think is realistically what's going to end up happening. He has $16.9 million due to him in guaranteed money for next season. So the Raiders would at least be eating that much cap hit plus the dead cap hits from the prorated signing bonus. Now, I believe beginning of 2013, so his 2024 salary is already guaranteed. As of this past March 17th, it guaranteed his salary. So that's what makes things a lot more tricky from a Raiders perspective and more expensive from a team trying to trade for Davante Adams. So as much as it's kind of the dream for Jet fans to get Aaron Rodgers' old buddy back playing with him, I'm not super on board with Davante Adams from a cost perspective. I think Garrett Wilson can be our Davante Adams, but I do think we need to bring in another trade weapon for a wide receiver. And I love Mike Evans. Mike Evans has kind of been the person that I've wanted the Jets to go after because the Bucs are gonna, if they're gonna move him, or if they're not gonna move him, and he's not gonna re-sign a deal next season. I don't know if they're a team that would franchise Mike Evans at this stage of his career. I mean, I guess it's possible. They're only going to be able to get a 5th-round compensation pick in 2025. But right now they're 3-2 and they're sitting atop their division. So are they likely to trade Mike Evans at this point? So probably not very likely from that perspective. Then you look around the rest of the league. I like T. Higgins a lot, but now with the Bengals being at 3-3, are they less likely to move him? Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, great options out in Denver. I don't particularly like Jerry Jeudy, but Cortland Sutton, I think, is a very good option for the Jets. Unfortunately, Sean Payton's also in Denver, and I don't see them doing the Jets any favors when it comes to Nathaniel Hackett and how all the bad blood that's sort of come between the two teams over the course of the past year. Talking a little bit of Hollywood Brown, maybe Darnell Mooney. Those are different types of wide receivers, though. If they're more of fast wide receiver, quick route running, things like that. I want a bigger body possession type wide receiver. That's why I'm looking at T. Higgins. I'm looking at a Cortland Sutton. I'm looking at a Mike Evans and even a Davante Adams to some extent. So overall, I do not think Davante Adams is going to be a popular... I think Davante Adams is going to be a popular trade option or at least trade option come the offseason for the New York Jets that I'm sure we'll make a ton of videos about and talk about a whole lot. But I don't think it's realistically feasible from the financial side of things for the Raiders without the Jets giving up something premium that I don't think the Jets should necessarily give up at this particular stage in Davante's career. So definitely a receiver that I'm looking to try and target, just not going to be the one that I particularly want right now. So you guys can let me know what you think about Davante Adams in the comment section down below, and we'll move on to our next topic.